Hello, it must be Monday, and if it's Monday, that means it is If You Only Knew. That's why I love Mondays, and I put them on Mondays, so I always had something to look forward to.
Good idea.
Because Mondays are not always people's favorite day, but I'm going to sit that there. But I love Mondays because this is If You Only Knew, and I am Carla Webb. I am your host today and every day. And I am a certified Christian life coach, focusing on relationships and your spiritual life. And I have a wonderful guest. As you can see, we are on location today, which is exciting, and it is so beautiful. And the gracious owner here is Tapp, and we are at 3 Oaks in Newburgh. It used to be we're across the street from the Old Country Store Jennings Station. This used to be Live Well, if you're familiar with that area. And now it is 3 Oaks, and Tara is the owner, and she is my beautiful guest today in this beautiful store. And so welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself so everybody can get acquainted with you.
Okay, well, good afternoon. Happy Monday. My name is Tapp. I am the owner of 3 Oaks Boutique and also Ball and Twine Candle Company. We started our candle company about 4 years ago, and after I lost my corporate job, and looking for some extra income and kind of mixing that with my husband's love of candles. And he's
Your husband's love of candles.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Yep.
You usually don't hear it. That's usually the other way around. So
there's actually a lot of men out there that really like candles and
that's
they enjoy
fantastic.
it. And
that's
so,
wonderful.
yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. And he's also, my husband's also a cancer survivor. So we are very particular about what we burn in the house. And I just wanted kind of things that we enjoyed smelling that we liked. And so anyway, it kind of all came together, and before I knew it, people were wanting to purchase them. They liked them and wanted to buy them, and so we did that, and I focused on that for a couple of years. And then that just opened up so many doors, and that just developed into 3 Oaks, which is, we call it a lifestyle boutique. And the reason that we do that is because we offer everything from home decor to clothes, jewelry, obviously candles, and just a variety of things. And we also would like to add like some skincare and some other items and things like that too. So great gift items. So that's evolved into this, and then we're actually hoping it evolves to some more things too.
Yay! Well, you'll have to keep us updated because we want to follow along and follow your progress, because this is such a beautiful space. And so come in and make sure you're open every day from 10 to 5 and Saturday 10 to 4. Is that what I saw?
Closed on Sunday.
It's closed on Sunday. Well,
for the Lord's Day.
Bless you for that. Bless you for that. So I was telling Tara, and for those of you who are tuning in because you know Tara and you aren't familiar with me, a little bit of where If You Only Knew came from was I am a survivor of domestic violence. And as I went through that healing process and through that journey of putting my life back together after many years of emotional and verbal and psychological abuse, and it was just gut-wrenching, and I found myself just kind of shattered into a million pieces and wondering how I was going to put it all back together again. And I was reading the story of the woman at the well, John 4:10, and I've heard that story so many times, but that day it leapt off the page at me. Whenever Jesus said to the woman at the well, "If you only knew who I am and the gift that God has for you, you would ask me for a drink of living water." And I said, I just poured myself out, and I just said, Lord, I want, refresh me, and I want to know more of who you are. I want to know the gift that you have for me, and I want to be refreshed from that living water. And that's what started If You Only Knew. And speaking to women in particular, domestic violence affects everybody, but just really helping women put on that journey of putting their life back together after an abusive relationship or a cycle of abusive relationships, and really understanding, trying to figure out what God has for them and the gift that he has for them and who Jesus is and how he wants to walk with them. So that's where, and then the other side of it was the if you only knew, because a lot of people did not know what was going on in my home. They didn't know what I was experiencing, and so we walk around with these happy faces and we look like this happy family. And, a lot of times we were sitting in church and I was thinking, if you only knew, if you only knew. And so that's the background of If You Only Knew. And whenever I decided I wanted to do this Facebook Live show every Monday and talk to fabulous women like Tara, I have a couple of questions that I'm always interested in hearing other people's answers. And the part of it was, in regards to relationships, there was a time where I sat on the floor just devastated, thinking if I were my own best friend, I would tell myself to do, X, Y, or Z. And so that's the premise of the first question. In regards to relationships, if you could go back and be your own best friend, what would you tell yourself?
I would probably tell myself two things. Number one, fear. Fear not. Do not have fear. I think that as young women, we are, at least me personally, I was just rooted in fear. Whether it was fear of ending a relationship or fear of moving forward, or fear of ending a girlfriend relationship, of maybe you were in you were, hung around a bunch of girls that were mean girls, or, or toxic relationships or something like that. So I think for me, is don't fear, that it's going to be okay. Believe in yourself, and which would lead me probably to the next thing was have more confidence. Have more confidence in making your decisions and choosing your life and choosing your direction and saying no, or saying yes. And I think that those two things go hand in hand for so many women that are facing just challenges, or even when things go smoothly. I mean, you always have this fear and the unknown, and what if I fail? Fear of success, fear of failure, and that if I could go back and tell myself, I would say it's going to be okay, and fear is so much wasted energy, and it's such a wasted emotion.
Yes.
That's exhausting, and it's paralyzing, and it very rarely moves you forward. Sometimes you can kind of channel that fear to move you, forward in a situation, but most of the time, a lot of times it's paralyzing, and it can actually keep you from growing and from stepping out of your comfort zone and taking some risks.
Yes. Isn't it fantastic to have lived enough life that we've gone through enough things that we thought, we wondered, how in the world am I ever going to get through this? How am I going to survive this? This is devastating, and it's going to end my existence as I know it. And then you have enough life behind you that whenever you're faced with those types of challenges, you can look back and say, okay, I've gone maybe not through this exact same thing before, but I've been through a difficult situation that I did not see how I was going to get through it. But you can go back and see that you did get through it. It did not bury you,
right.
And you can see where God was in the process the whole time. And so for me, what that has allowed me to do is whenever difficult things present themselves now, I think, okay, I can do this. I've gone through difficult times before. I can do this again. Does that ring true for you also?
Absolutely. It's kind of like been there, done that, like it is. And you're constantly faced with new challenges and new struggles in life. And whether it's a health issue or, a failed relationship or a financial situation, financial struggle, or obviously as being self-employed, that stress, that daily stress of being self-employed.
Yes.
And so, yes, and to me, it's so much about learning from where you've been. So, I mean, it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. It's completely normal. It's completely natural. I think as women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be perfect.
Absolutely.
And to afraid to admit that something isn't, going our way, or isn't, we just feel like we need to be perfect at things. And that's not the case. And, we all know that the only perfect one that's ever walked this earth has been Jesus. So we are going to fail on a regular basis, but to really learn from that and to move on and like you said, I'm going to survive. I will survive and move forward and be better for it in the future.
Yes. Well, that's a perfect lead into the next question, which is, what is a truth that God has revealed to you about yourself?
Probably a couple of things. Trust is the first thing that comes to mind. Is trust yourself, trust your instinct, trust Him, and trust Him completely. So we have a tendency to we trust Him and we put our faith in Him, then we try to pull it back and we gain control of it, and we try to handle it ourselves. And then we try to give it back to Him when things don't go well, and then we kind of try to take it back again. So it's this ongoing struggle of turning it over to God and really, truly trusting Him, and then and trying to take it back. So I've learned that the hard way, and a lot of times of trust Him, fully trust Him. When you are in such a situation where you really need to give it to God and turn it over to Him, do it with no restraints and no boundaries, no fear. No, just give it to Him, and then pay attention to where He guides you. Because a lot of times we get caught up in asking for help, and we get caught up in God give me a sign, and then there's a million signs around you that you're not opening up your eyes to see and absorb. So I would say trust, and then also probably the other thing I feel like has been revealed to me is there's a difference between having a relationship, or there's a difference between having a strong faith in the Lord and trusting in Jesus, and then having a relationship with Him. And actually, my husband taught me that.
Okay. Well, teach us. We'd love to hear.
Well, it's many of us, we go to church and we, we're sitting in the pews on Sunday, or we all struggle with sin in our life. We all struggle with, things that are not ideal. And then, but really, there's such a difference in when you grow up and you learn and you grow and you become an adult, of the difference between sitting in the pews and then having a real, true relationship, a one-on-one relationship with the Lord.
Yes.
And where you can talk to Him, and you can, you feel like He is right there with you. Because there's been times I've always gone to church. I've always attended church ever since I was an infant. My parents were born and raised in the church, and me as well. And so many of them, so many times I felt like, well, I go to church. I'm a Christian. I believe. I never questioned my faith and all this kind of stuff. But that's a completely different thing than having a one-on-one relationship that you can reach out to Him and just feel really connected. And it brings you, when you do that, it brings you closer to your spouse. It brings you closer to your parents or your children or your friends. And you just feel all around more healthy and whole whenever you have that deep-rooted relationship with Him. So, and it's different to different people. I mean, it manifests itself in different ways, but there's just a big difference. And that was one of kind of a light bulb moment for me.
Well, the Lord has really taken me through learning what it means to pray without ceasing.
Yes.
It is. I have learned it's speaking and communicating and being in connection with the Holy Spirit, and what are you saying, and what are you where are you leading, and how do I need to be thinking about this, and what am I not seeing? It has turned into just almost like breathing Like, you know,
Yes.
that everything is run through the filter of like, okay, Holy Spirit, okay, Jesus, you know, what are you saying here? How do I need to be responding to this? How do I need to be thinking about this? And just being in this constant place. And when when it says praying without ceasing, I think a lot of us have this picture of that prayer is a set time. Like we have our prayer time. And then whenever we don't have our prayer time and that's over, then our communication with God is done for the day. Like, well, we checked in, we had our prayer time, and we move on. And so the Lord is really just showing me what it means to pray without ceasing. It's really just being in constant communication and not setting him on the shelf. Well, I've had my time with you today, Lord. I'll see you tomorrow morning when I'll get back to you later. To you later. And it really is as you're driving down the road or you're walking through the supermarket or whatever it is. It's that constant communication.
Yeah, and so much of that too is whenever you start putting God first. That's how it works. When you really put him first in your life and you think about his needs and his wants and his emotions and what his direction is for you in your life and what his expectations are, then it's like you're constantly having this, my husband laughs at me that I often even talk to myself because you're having these constant conversations with him, and it's this prayer, pray without ceasing. And I think it's almost, it makes me think of like how you think of when you have children. And then as soon as you have children, it is no longer about you. It is, you think about them first all the time. It's their needs, their wants, how that child feels. And it just becomes so second nature that, is just to give of yourself and just to cherish this child and this relationship that you have with this child. And it's the same way when you have such a good, close relationship, with the Lord, and it's like this constant communication back and forth, and it's an ongoing relationship. So
absolutely, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful relationship. And sometimes he's okay if I get a little frustrated with them, and I'm like, okay, Lord, what am I not getting here? I don't understand, and he can take it. He can take it. He's got really broad shoulders. He literally carries the weight of the world on his shoulders, so he can take it. But this has been such a wonderful conversation, and you have beautiful insights, and I thank you for sharing that. And so Melanie, I see he wants an intimate relationship with us. Absolutely.
Yes.
He so much does. And, as much as we yearn for that relationship with God, he wants us even more than what we want him, and he loves us even more than we love him. And if we only knew, if we only
knew how he's so willing to forgive us, even more than we are willing to forgive ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's
we just keep picking it back up.
Yes.
And he's forgotten about it. He's like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. So, Hi, Cheryl. Hello there, Cheryl. Good afternoon to you. And so this has just been a phenomenal conversation, and I just encourage you to share it with someone else, because I know that if it spoke to you and it was meaningful to you, that you have friends and family that it would speak to and be meaningful to also. So please share it. Let us know and put a comment there. Let us know something that touched you or was a light bulb moment for you. We would love to know about that, because so many times, especially whenever as an entrepreneur or a business owner or doing things, we feel like we're just kind of throwing things out there and that nothing's sticking. So
on an island. I always describe it. You're on an island. You are by yourself sometimes.
Yeah, definitely feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We keep score, but God doesn't. That's right, Melanie. We need that. He just wipes out that scorecard. He rips it up. Yes. So how can people get to know your products and get to know you and get in contact with you if they have seen something that is of interest to them?
Our store, like Carla said, we are located at 300 West Jennings. We are Suite 208 in Newburgh, downtown Newburgh. You can follow us on social media at Shop 3 Oaks. That's on both Instagram and Facebook. Our candle company, the name of our candle company is Ball and Twine. And you can also follow us on social media there as well. You can come and get any of our cannabis products here in the shop anytime. And we just love to meet you and see your smiling face. So if you ever want to stop by and say hello, we'd love to meet you.
Wonderful. And you can, if you are having, struggles or wanting to grow your faith, or you need help getting through difficult, maybe you've been through a cycle of toxic or abusive relationships, and you're wanting to end that cycle, and you're wanting to heal from that and learn how to have healthy relationships, click the book now and schedule a free consultation with me. I give a free 30-minute consultation, and we can just talk and see if coaching is right for you, and if it's something that you think would be helpful and beneficial to you where you are in your life right now. Something else that I'm doing is I am working with teens. I have opened up my coaching practice to working with teens due to having more and more parents reach out to me because they're concerned.
Right now.
They are so concerned about their teenagers and them already being in unhealthy and some abusive relationships. And so let's get that stopped before it gets started. And I am open to, I have an I Am Worth It speaking tour for teens, where I come in and I speak to youth groups, youth organizations, if you just wanted to get a group of teens together and have me come to your home or your, whatever the case may be, I am doing that, and I am now booking for the I Am Worth It tour. I'm going to be speaking at the Church of the Harvest in Evansville on Wednesday night. I spoke at North Friendship Youth Group last night, and so I would just love the opportunity to speak God's truth into your teens as to what is an unhealthy relationship that they are thinking is normal, and what is a healthy relationship. What does God say, and who does God say they are? And He wants them to know that they are worth all the love and all the joy and all the goodness that He has for them. So you can contact me. I have my phone number on my Facebook page, and you can also click the book now, and we can schedule a time to talk. So thank you so much for using probably some of your lunchtime to tune in. Make sure you hit share. And if you haven't liked her Facebook page or my Facebook page, go ahead and do that also, and invite someone else to like it. Share the love. Share the love. So I always like to sign off. Know that God loves you. Know that I love you. And you have a great day. We'll see you guys. Bye.